So I think somebody is on mute, so
All right then. Okay, thank you very much. So as I was saying, the fourth will be empowerment. Empowerment in different forms. So now it's beyond giving to the poor and needy and vulnerable in the community. I like to also look at empowerment from personal development and investing in knowledge, investing in our growth, reading wide, reading far, understanding the crux of what it is that we want to achieve as community developers, as it's important to our democracy. I have, how many minutes do I have left? I know you gave us 4 minutes.
yes, you have about 2 minutes left.
Okay, good. So I would wrap up and say that in the long run, for us to be able to develop the Nigeria in this sense that we want to see, the community that we want to see, we need to agree on what our interests are, what are our shared identities, barring all the fault lines, which are superficial, by the way, all the bigotry that's hovering around us and how we're falling victim to it one way or the other, either political, religious, or ethnic. We need to, as young people, sit down and actually have these conversations as to what our shared identities are. I think the first would be that we're first Nigerians, right? And we want to be able to define at our core what it means to be Nigerian. So at our core, we want to have shared identities that would help us soar through the rigors of this development that we're trying to achieve. We also need to be clear on what success looks like for us. So are we looking for short-term measures, or are we looking for long-term goals? And are we ready to go the whole way? You know, it's a marathon, like we've been saying, even during the EndSARS protest. It's not just, I'm going to tweet and I'm going to put the hashtag and I've done my bit. No, there's a lot of hard work. And until we're ready as young people to put aside our entitlements, to put aside our anger with government, with our parents, with their generation, and understand that if we're not careful, we will do exactly what they have done, and the next generation would point fingers at us and say we didn't do our part. I would like to close here and say that I believe strongly in Nigeria, and I believe in every young Nigerian who, whether in diaspora or in here in this country, is doing the little that they can to make their community, to make their society, to make their families a better place. I just would urge us that we collaborate and show love more. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Tolu, for that exposition. So one major thing that she really talked about was collaboration. That means it's not a journey that one person can do. It's not something you can just say that, I just want to go and make impact. I just want to go and do this. I just want to speak about it. But collaboration and, understanding that shared identities. She talked about we have to be clear on what success looks like. So actually, what is success to you? So that's one thing I want you to begin to think of, actually. What is success to you? What is good Nigeria to you? What is a great community to you? Is it just a community where we have good roads, good food, good electricity? Is it something much more? So I believe that more of these questions will be answered before we are done with today's event. So thank you once again, Tolu, for that short but impactful contribution. So we'll move on to the next speaker already. That is Nwogu Godswill. Nwogu Godswill, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Wow, thank you. So good to see you. Thank you for joining once again. So Tolu has already laid a foundation. She has talked about collaboration. She has talked about understanding what success looks like. She has talked about, hello, Mr. Godswill, can you hear me? It's like, can everybody hear him? Or is it from me? The network is, your line is breaking. Hello, Mr. Gosso. Can you hear me? So maybe you should log out and try to log in back because we can't hear you. Just log out and try to log in again. We can't hear you again at all. So while you fix that, Felix Beach song, please, are you ready for us? So that we won't.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, welcome once again. Thank you for joining us.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
Yes, so just the same thing as like I stated earlier, the role of youth in community development. What's your perspective? What's your take?
All right, first of all, I just want to understand if you can hear me. I'm working from home and it's a little crazy here. Can you hear me, please?
Yes.
Right, great to be here once again. An amazing topic here, the role of youth in community development. I think community development here can be said to be nation building as well. So I'll be coming from the perspective of taking responsibility. So Nigeria is a country where a lot of things has been going on, a lot of things have happened over the past years, and unfortunately, we have always, some of the youth have always given that I don't care attitude. Okay, hey, I'm not doing this, I don't care, the government can do whatever they want to do. My parents go ahead and make decisions and all of those things. And unfortunately, the power of decision making has been scaled down to us right now. I mean, when we were young, we say we want to be leaders of tomorrow. Today, some of us are very much older, and unfortunately, again, we are not seen as leaders of tomorrow. Okay. Now, the powers we used to give our parents at the time when we were younger, that our parents will deal with some of these situations, and then we can just sit down and watch them. It's gone past those days now, right? This is the time where we get to talk, we get to take responsibilities, we need to take actions from different angles. So taking responsibility here doesn't just mean you see the problem, you just saying, oh, this is the problem, this is what's happening in the society today. It means you taking actions, taking probable actions to ensure that the problem that the seeming problem is being handled for. I mean, in 2020, I was really proud of Nigeria and the Nigerian youth, to be very honest, and how they entirely dealt with the NSAS, the NSAS problem that actually came as a shock to us at the time. I was a victim of NSAS, of course. Unfortunately, I could not speak at the time when that happened. But when the entire thing came up, and then when everybody took responsibility, I had to stand up as myself. Taking responsibility is one thing that we all should take, because at the end of the day, when the society goes bad, it comes down to affect us. If we had not dealt with that situation properly at the time, I'm sure that people would have still been killed unnecessarily in the streets. Youth would have still been harassed, even though I think that's still going on right now. But we took responsibility to a common cause, and we made sure that things happen. So taking responsibility is one, and also I think empowerment is something that comes in handy as well. When it comes to youth development. Okay, what are you people doing? What perhaps are the government doing? What is the private sector doing to ensure that the youth in these different sectors or in different locations are actually being developed, right? To ensure that, because it's only when they develop and when people are self-aware, people know that, okay, there's a problem here, and they know that, hey, I can actually provide a solution to this problem, that they can take up responsibilities. So if they don't know this, to be honest, there's absolutely nothing they can do. So if they are able to, if they are, of course, being empowered properly, not being empowered by money, just like Tolu said, mentioned earlier, empower them with skills. When youth are empowered with skills, of course, they would definitely know exactly what to do. We used social media last year to do magic, and I think it's also happening right now with the entire school, the entire thing happening in the school, I think in Lagos here as well. So social media is helping us. We know how to use social media properly. And that is why we are actually taking probable action and also ensuring that things are done properly in the country. So once again, I think taking responsibility is something that would help us as well as being empowered. But that's really my submission. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Felix Bisson, for that short but also insightful idea of how we can contribute as youth to community development. So one major thing one thing that is so evident is, or rampant, or we cannot always do without in this generation is, can you hear me? All right, okay, nice. So as I was saying, I said one thing we cannot do without, or youth cannot always do without in this generation, is the use of social media. Like everybody, in fact, teenagers, children, everyone is on social media, everyone is on Zoom, everyone is on Instagram. And it's a way that ideas, things can easily be spread, even when you're inside your house or you're somewhere, you're not even going outside, you're not even in politics or in any SDG goals or whatever, just put something online, Twitter especially, before you know it just starts trending and everything just starts, populating. What really helped end SARS move was not just the fact that people were going out, it was because there was voice on social media. People kept on posting pictures and videos and all, and so that triggered something in the minds of people. So the social media is a very, very powerful tool to community development, to making impact. So thank you so much, Felis Bison, for that wonderful contribution. So Godswill Owogo, I can see you, you're back. Hope your network is better now.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay,
so you can go ahead.
Okay, I want to thank
your line is still breaking.
I want to suggest maybe turning off the video might help.
Exactly.
Okay, maybe you should just turn off your video. Let's see if that will work. Okay.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so like I was saying, I will be dwelling on identifying the problem. So that's identifying the Nigerian problem. I will start by saying that the problem with Nigerian youth, of course, is not the lack of initiative, nor is it the lack of information, nor is it the lack of engagement. I would rather term it a lack of impact, which which we are discussing today, and which finds its roots from a lack of understanding of the problem. Most of the times we are full of ideas, we are full of, hello, can you still hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yes, we can. We can.
We can hear you.
Okay. So like I was saying, it's rooted from that lack of impact, is rooted from a lack of understanding of the Nigerian problem, or the problem of our society, the problem of our community. I think if we understand the problem well enough, providing the adequate solution will not be, will not be hard, will not be perfect. So now let's come down to Nigeria as our immediate community. Let's ask ourselves, what is the problem of Nigeria? Some people, the problem of Nigeria might be corruption, might be insecurity, might be, ethnicity, tribalism, and, the list keeps going on. But I want to say today that it is not all that we can mention that is wrong with Nigeria. I think the problem of Nigeria is, rather the problem of not seeing our problem as a problem. Sorry, sorry if that's confusing. The problem of not seeing our problem as a problem. The problem of trying to live with our problem, trying to adapt to our problem, trying to, flow along with our problem. Let's say, for instance, someone has cancer. It does a person. Let's say someone has cancer. Cancer at this point becomes the person's problem. And of course, nobody will want to live with cancer. course, when you continue living with cancer, it will grow and then eventually you die by cancer. So let's say let's see our problems as what? Our cancer, things we shouldn't live with. And of course, let's say corruption. Of course, corruption didn't start today. Corruption didn't start in this our present generation. Police brutality didn't start today. But this has been something we've been living with. We've been trying to cope with. We've been trying to, adapt ourselves to. And of course, it's over time it grew up to become a greater devil as time goes. So I believe our problem is, getting ourselves into a decision not to, cope, not to live, not to try to, accommodate our problems as a nation, as a community. So if wherever we find ourselves, actually, if we can determine not to, accommodate issues that we see that even if they don't have any impact, even if they don't have any negative impact in this present generation, if yet they are going to have a negative impact in the future, we should begin now to do what? To hit the hammer at the nail and point to these that it is not something we are going to accommodate. The hammer at the nail and point to these that it is not something we are going to accommodate. It's not something we are going to live with. So I also want to, okay, let me give an instance. Something recently, started happening in the area where I live, down here east of Nigeria. There's this, in my estate is an other state, is an oil producing state. So over time, there have been several illegal, bunkering, people refining crude oil illegally. And then over time, we've been living with it and, nothing has been done about it. But recently, the governor, instituted a task force to help curb that activity. But you know what the task force ended up doing? Because I have a friend who is part of the task force. They ended up, instead of, finding a way to stop the illegal, refining of crude oil, they eventually went into, collecting money, tasking them, and you see, the individuals who are involved in it keep doing what they are doing. And over time now, currently, what we are facing is a health challenge as a result of contaminated rain, because the soot produced from the illegal refining of crude oil goes into the atmosphere, combines with the water vapor in the atmosphere, and then what we now have in our area is what I would call black rain. The rain is completely black. When rain falls, it is just black. So it is very dangerous. Of course, it is an acidic rain and every other thing that it is part of. So I'll be wrapping up now. So I think Nigerian problem is
Hello, Gospel, are you there?
Identify the problem, and then if we really agree, wrap up to indicate that one, we should build the bridge between the past generation and the upcoming generation, and secondly, we should model the future we want for the next generation, and thirdly, which is the last, we should, excellence. Excellence is one thing that beats corruption, that beats in any evil society, that beats any mayhem at all. Excellence. If we go for excellence, we would always find ourselves, defeating whatever be our woes or problems.
Thank you so much, Mr. Godso. Thank you very much for that insightful contribution too. So because we really need to do this breakout session in like 5 minutes, so we're going to our last but not the least speaker for today, Inioluwa Odekunle. So everybody has spoken on the role of youth in community development. So what challenges do you think that we face as youths in community development?
Okay, thank you. So first of all, I'll say I'm coming at this discussion from the angle of a practitioner, social impact practitioner. So I don't know if you can help me share the slides I sent to you.
All right, just a minute, you can go on and share.
Okay, so but I'll just say, because I have it open in front of me as well. So I'm just trying to rethink community development, the practices that we engage in community development, so I started by saying that community development starts with me, starts with you and I. And a community is a collective of people who are in a condition of sharing or having certain attitudes or interests in common, and then development speaks of trying to achieve progress and prosperity, which is what we all want. That's why everybody, because we believe that where we're going to is more developed. So there's progress and prosperity available to everyone. So in the real essence, I think that development is really trying to bring or reduce the inequalities that is currently in the world today. When you talk about like socioeconomic inequalities, the quality of life that we can achieve for ourselves. And I just put 4 challenges that we face. The first one will be many times focus on symptoms as opposed to the root cause. And I'm guilty of it. When I started initiative in 2016, I was looking at symptoms. I didn't really have a full understanding of okay, let me see if I can share the slides since you're asking me to share it. Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right, thank you. So basically, the 4 challenges, just trying to be quick, that I want to speak on focusing on symptoms rather than the root cause. Then we talk about strategy, structure, and sustainability. I mean, the quality of education that we have received in Nigeria is subpar at best when you talk about the challenges of the world that the world is facing today and in the future. So, for instance, strategy, structure, and sustainability are not usually top of mind when we want to start working on or solving any community issues. Then also we focus on output rather than outcome. As a project manager, I learned this the hard way because we used to run easily 12 projects in a year or more sometimes, from food drives to art for a cause, painting on walls and different things. But I sat down to ask myself, what is the outcome of these outputs we're doing? What is it? And I realized that we're really not hitting the mark. People's lives are not changing. All we just do is celebrate fanfare, come on social media, post pictures that we've done this and we've done that, And then the last thing I will say is the reason why we also have poor solutions to offer is because there's absence of data. Over time, we've not been able to say, okay, this is what works, or this is what might help, So just to further expand on it, the first things I say is we treat symptoms. Treating symptoms actually perpetuates the problem, and it leads to reduced sensitivity towards that problem, because there's a tendency to feel like, oh, we're already doing something about it now, or we're giving people food. People are poor and we're giving them food. And so we think that because we're giving them food, we're helping them one way or the other. So there's that desensitivity. And also the problem mutates, just like we're seeing with COVID-19, when you try to solve a problem, sometimes the problem begets other problems, and then also solution resistance as well. People that we give food to before now, when you go to them and you want to give them food, they take the food from you, but they already know that this food is not going to solve my problem. So it's just a passive, interaction that you guys have. And then the second thing is strategy, structure, and sustainability. I started an initiative without thinking. Thankfully, I got a job and I was able to put some of my earnings towards that. But after 2 years, I knew that I had to stop. It was not sustainable because there was no way I was raising money. There was no problem I was solving that was going to be profitable to myself or to the people that I was trying to help. So long-term thinking is what we require as youths. Asking questions like, how can I get or create funding? I would like to mention here that non-profits are nice and good, but I think everyone should be aiming to be a social enterprise, because in the world we're going to, most investors would want to invest in something that can give a return, because you want to manage the money better that way. And we need to ask what next. In terms of sustainability, like when we do this project, when we do this, in 5 years' time, are we still going to be doing the same thing? What else can we do? How else can we? Because problems can mutate, like I said, it can change. So those are the things that we need to ask ourselves. Let's try to start thinking long term. And I said also here that focus on output rather than, we focus on output rather than outcome, but we should not. Outputs are measurable activities. We engage in outreaches and projects, like you mentioned earlier. and outcomes are the impacts or results derived from by our target group due to the activities that we engage in. Like, for instance, I've gone to Makoko, I've done a video about like what the guys are facing, those that work in Okobaba, just adjacent to Makoko. And, you know, what I was trying to achieve was awareness, you know, but after awareness, what next? Are those people's lives change, you know? So the hard thing about outcomes is that it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of effort. You know, it takes time. Impact takes time to show, and not everyone is patient for that. And also, as practitioners, it doesn't benefit us because you have to be able to show your grantors like something that you've done. You know, and so that sometimes limits us to thinking quick and short term. You know, and the last thing I would say is, and which is where I'm very, very much interested in, is poor decisions due to absence of data. You know, data is critical. We need to be able to have data to optimize what we're doing, our activities. So, you know, it's a problem that if it's solved, I believe that the person that solves it will make a lot of money, as well as would also benefit a lot of people, you know, in the sector of social data, basically. So I think that bottom line, we need to leverage technology. There's no reason why we have all this more technology and programmers and knowledge in Africa that when we cannot build something with it. So we're talking about apps that can collect secondary or primary data, aggregate it, analyze, you know, make recommendations, and then we can recommend theory of change and all the likes. You know, and then I would say also leverage energy and numbers. As youths, we're actually the most populous currently in Africa, you know, the youth population. And in Nigeria, the youth population is also leading, you know, so we need to be able to leverage that. And that speaks to what I said at the beginning, that it starts with you and I. You know, I need to work on myself. I need to develop myself. Collectively, we make the community. So if everyone is collectively developing themselves in different areas, we just wake up one day and realize that we've actually grown, you know, and I believe that that's what was done in Dubai. There was vision and there was carrying the people along. So just to wrap, you know, work with data, you know, self-improvement, and basically outcome is greater than outputs. So thank you guys very much for the opportunity to share. Yeah, so.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And that was really, really insightful. Thank you for that. So it's like Ini has already given us would I say, an idea into what we want to do in the breakout session. So our time is fast spent. So the session will just last for 5 minutes. So everybody now, we're broken into about 2 groups or 3 groups. We have about 15 participants. So we'll be going to like 2 groups. So what we'll be doing in the groups is that everybody, please,
there's an issue with doing network. So once she joins back in, then we'll continue. But yeah, just to continue where she stopped. When we visited Makoko, we wanted to get perspective into what their needs, providing solutions for communities without actually engaging them, you know, and ensuring that we know, because for social change, it's always better when the community is involved in whatever initiatives that you come up with, right? So based on that, on World Food Day, we went to the community, you know, through one of the impact change makers in the community that has a school, and enroll students in the school in a philanthropic way. So he allows the students, the mothers, pay their school fees in instrumental payments and the time, but even in as much as he has made that very convenient for them to, you know, handle, for some reason, they still default. So, you know, you have a lot of children still going to that school, owing, you know, school fees for about 1 year, 2 years, but because he's doing that for just, you know, for impact and to ensure that he's able to, you know, contribute his own quota to the development of the community, he keeps on, you know, having those children in and finding ways of supporting, you know, their growth. So in our conversations, most of the women kept saying they needed money, and we're like, we can't just give you money, right? You are all business women. How sustainable are the businesses that you are running? You know, and then we got to a point where, you know, we decided that let's, you know, wrap the second Youth Connect around this particular theme and see how we can put heads together and think of a sustainable solution towards, you know, making impact. So we have their database. right? And we were thinking that, you know, what we could do was to maybe come up with an initiative whereby they go through some learnings about business. So they go through some, you know, crash business learning, you know, course, and then we wrap some form of competition around it in order to be able to, you know, push action, you know, and then maybe have someone win. And then, you know, through that, we're able to then support them, you know, with their businesses, but put some measures in place whereby there's accountability, you know, and ensuring that that then transcends towards the children having a good education. So what this breakout session really is about is for us to, you know, look at this as a case study and then, you know, come up with ideas that can drive this change. I hope I've been able to break that down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so before we start, just to have more context for those that haven't joined, let me see if I can play the video again. It's a very short video, where I still have it here. Yeah, and then we'll move you all to the breakout sessions. So the way the breakout session is going to work is there will be a team lead. So each of the people that spoke earlier would perhaps, you know, just kind of coordinate each of the breakout sessions. And then at the end, there'll be like a presentation of what the discussion is about and solutions that you come up with. And that will be presented by a member of the group, who is not one of the speakers that spoke earlier, right? So let me just see if I can play the video and then we'll put you guys in groups. I hope you can see my screen. Let's play.
It is a neighborhood situated across the Third Mainland Bridge on the coast of Lagos Mainland. 1/3 of Makoko community is built on stilts along the lagoon, while the rest is on land. The major activities are firewood making, fishing, and salt making. Makoko has a lot to offer as they smoke a sizable percentage of the fish in Lagos and are experts in the boat building business. On World Food Day 2022, Woven Impact Network, a social enterprise that serves as a link to providing sustainable solutions to communities, visited Makoko community and had a talk with some women about nutrition and how to manage their businesses to provide good nutrition for their families. Some of the women shared their experiences with us. A large percentage of the women had children that they could not afford to send to school. Mr. Bao, one of the social impact makers in the community, advised that the solution to sustainable impact is not just giving money or food items to the women. Woven Impact Network has promised the women to come up with sustainable solutions to solve some of their problems.
A very big thank you to the organization yourself for finding the time to come out. We are supposed to be relaxing your home. So thank you very much. God bless.
Okay, I'm sure we all listened to the video. So what we want to do now is for us to come up, what can we do for these women that would be sustainable? Not just going back there in January to give them rice or just give them money to pay for their children's school fees. So what are the solutions that we can provide to these women? At least let's start with this group of women. And so we'll be going to the breakout session now. So that's the question. And when we come back, we'll wrap up. Thank you for your time and patience. So.
Hi.
Hi, Danny.
Hi, welcome back. Welcome back. So we're already having an interesting conversation in my own group, but it knocked us out. So it was I and Felix were in the same group. So I think I'll leave Felix to be our group leader and talk about what we discussed. Abby, since you were the one that came up with most of the solutions. So so we're group A. So group B, who is your group leader? Who's representing you? I think that's
is that Tolu's group?
Yeah, I think that's your group.
Prince is speaking.
Okay, Prince. All right. So group C, I think that's in his group, right? So who will be speaking on your behalf?
I believe it should be Favor, but she
Favor.
just joined, so I don't know how. Like, yeah,
but she was able to share.
Yeah, she was able to.
Okay,
Yeah,
fine. So let's start from your group then. Favor, are you here? Let's start from group C.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah. So I was just telling Ini Oluwa that I just joined the conversation. I was trying to catch up with the whole thing. So I think he's like pulling me out. And I don't know why he's doing that.
Okay.
Let's start with other groups probably. By then I should be ready or something.
All right. So okay. All right. So everybody, we just have like 2 minutes to just share with us the solutions you were able to come up with. 2 minutes. So let's start from my wonderful group. Felix, just go ahead.
Okay, hi again. Great to be here once again. So the solution we shared firstly was these ladies or these women are business owners, almost of them tend towards the business aspect of livelihood. We thought of having provide them access to credit facilities, right? Where we have like the microfinance banks providing credit for these ladies to ensure that the business is run properly. However, before that takes place, there needs to be sort of like a crash course for these ladies to take that helps them to understand the rudiments of running a successful business, just so that the finances that they're being given is applied properly into a profitable upward venture, right? Also look at how we could, don't you talk about how, what the plan is, or the plan could be like sending one of their child to school, and then having as an incentive to have these ladies attend the training sessions, because it might be tricky due to the fact that some of them are very business centric, and also some of them might not necessarily be able to go to their shops, to come attend an event in code, right? That helps them to develop. So the idea was to maybe take one of their kids to school for a term, perhaps people that school fee for a term, and then have them come for the event. Meanwhile, when there is also sort of like a repayment plan sort of for the ladies who are given the loan or the credit.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. So Prince, are you ready for us? So what's the solution
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi,
Okay, so my team, we spoke about skill acquisition because we believe that skill acquisition is one of the tested ways to help reduce poverty, because we believe that if people in the village, let's say Makoko, for instance, now we talked about some of them being business owners. Now, the thing is that some of these guys know nothing about business, or they do not even possess a skill, but for the fact that someone around them is doing a particular business and they feel those persons are making sales, they also want to do those businesses. So how about going there to empower them with different skills? Try to know what they are capable of doing or what their mind can carry, so that you give them skills based on what based on things that are scalable in that environment, such that if they start a business, the business will be able to thrive. And we also talked about most of them, they're even if you give them the skill, the art of the skill is very important, which is the business. We talked about at least teaching them about marketing, how to scale business, like different from time to time, going there to give them different business tips and all. And the last important thing is mentorship. Mentorship runs through right from the skill acquisition down to them starting up their business, follow-ups and everything. So we believe that if people are able to go there, empower these persons, and then also follow them up with mentors that would keep checking on them to know how their businesses are going, within a short period of time, there would be changes for them to create sustainable source of income for themselves.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rupi. That was nice. So, Favor, are you ready for us?
Okay, yeah, I'm ready.
All right, so let's hear you.
So what we discussed was not far different from what the last person just spoke. So my group and I talked about these women, and basically these women have been in this business for quite a time, and shifting them into another set of business will not really be the best solution. So I would say the best solution is to improve on what they are already doing. So how about you train them? When you train them on making this business a marketable and sustainable business, you also set up loans for them that can establish them, improve what they're already doing. And you could give them a duration period and say, okay, I'm giving you a loan with XYZ amount of profit or interest, and I'll take the loan and then you take the interest and establish your business. That way, it's just best for them to, improve on what they're doing. Most of them already have ideas, but they don't really know how to put them together. And one of the biggest challenge of businesses or entrepreneurs in Nigeria is funds. So if there are opportunities for them to, give them something and make them accountable on how to pay back, it will make their businesses better, I believe.
All right, thank you so much. So from everybody's perspective or contributions, one thing I noticed is that we still have to go back to training. I can see that similarity there. In my group, we talked about training. Team B also talked about skill acquisition and also training them on marketing and all. And then Favor also added now that improve on what they're doing. So in fact, none of these women, most of them are not sit-at-home moms because according to their stories and everything they were sharing, they don't have husbands that are supportive, right? Most of them, they'll tell you they're the ones sponsoring their children or feeding them. So they have business that they're doing. They are selling food, selling fish, and one thing or the other. So I think we've been able to come up with one major thing, and that is training. That is enlightenment. And so we're going to work on it as Woven Impact Network, and everybody here would, because we're doing this together. It's not just us. That's the essence of having this session. We're doing this together. So hopefully by January, we'll be executing the project. So what I think the next steps now is to, okay, I'm seeing messages in the chat box. Okay, so I think so I think next step is to find a way to organize a training for this women. But I and Felix talked about something. We said you can't just draw these women from their market business and say, come and sit down and listen to how to do your business, how to do finance, without having something like you want to give them something. They will just want to like, give me a story that we're not educated. What do you want to be telling us? Of course, the facilitator we're going to get will be somebody that can, speak on their level, relate with them, speak their language. So you can recommend. So this is going to probably, so we're trying to form a community of youths that can, build this sustainable impact in this community. So if you have ideas of facilitator that can engage these women in conversation, business conversation on how to build their business, please, we'd like you to recommend. So we'll keep everybody posted, updated on progresses, but likely by January, because we're there and they're already even expecting us to come back, because we just went there and told them that, okay, we've listened to their story and we'll come up with a solution for them and get back to them. So they're expecting us back in Makoko in January. So follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and I'm sure I have everybody here on our mailing list. So we'll also be sending newsletters as often as possible. So if you have any recommendations, partnership, just send it to our mail or reach out to us on any of our social media handles so that we can do this together. So I think it was Tolu that talked about collaboration when she started at collaboration. So it's very important. So we're looking forward to seeing everybody in January as volunteers, as partners, for us to execute this plan. So the first step we're taking is to train these women. But while training them, we're also going to give them something. Like I think it was Favor that mentioned getting loans for them. So probably the prerequisite for the result of the training, we'll tell them that before you can get loan, before you can get us to give you money to boost your business, you have to attend this training and must be sure that you understand what we are doing and what we want you to do with the money and how to run your business before you can have access to those. I think that will make them serious in the class. So it could just be a weekend training or 1 week training. So we're going to plan the curriculum together. So I don't want to waste much of our time, but I'm sure that we'll be able to learn 1 or 2 things today. And I mean, it's been an amazing session from our first speaker, Tolu Adetunji, to Godwill to Ini, and to Felix. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Favor. Thank you, friends. Everyone will join. Thank you for your contribution. Like, it is very, very, thank you so much for even staying up till this time. We really appreciate you, and we'll keep in touch, and we look forward to doing more together. So if you have if you have a contribution or something that you wanted to say that we have not said, so can we just do that in 1 minute? You have a question or contribution,
Yeah, sorry, I wanted to add something to, oh, sorry, I didn't know we were supposed to, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to add quickly, like we also, I think Favor did not mention it, I'm not sure she did. We also talked about like increasing the value of what they produce by just by simple packaging. For instance, we don't have sardines like how much, 700 now. If they also have like sardines, they make sardines, then you need to show them the value of it. We can have locally made sardines. These things we import, we have it in this country, so we don't need to be importing it. They can go into crayfish packaging. When you take your stuff to the supermarket, you are going to be getting higher value than when you go to Oyinbo markets, because people come there and they'll beat it down to the most. So that's one easy low-hanging fruit or low-lying fruit that we can tap onto here.
Yeah, thank you so much. That makes a lot of sense. So, most of these women, they have good businesses selling all this expensive fish. So if we could start packaging it for them, teaching them how to get NAFDAC registration number, helping them post it or advertise it on our social media. And so this woman, she lives in Makoko, she has a certain number of children, she's selling fish. I think people will even be interested in patronizing them more, because they'll see it as a way of giving back to them. So that's noted. Thank you so much for that contribution. Great. So any other question, contribution before we call it a day? Okay, all right. So you're welcome, Malo. Okay, Gus, we have something to say just in 1 minute.
Okay, yeah. Just to add to what Ili just said, we could place something like a reward system.
Network, your line is breaking. Okay, can you just drop?
They could, if you are giving them loan, if they're able to, pay back. Hello?
No, you can go ahead. I can hear you. Or you can just, okay. Hello, Godswill, are you there?
Like I was saying, we could play something like a, hello, hearing. So like I was saying, we could play something like a reward system that allows them to, get involved, engage in activities, even if we are giving them loan. If they're able to pay back their loan in some certain time or duration, they can get more loan to, foster their business and expand. And then especially on what he said, food processing and food packaging. And then also food distribution is also, not because most of the times it's not because we don't produce much, but food waste because of what? Lack of proper food distribution. If we could help them market, just like you said, be able to market their products, it goes a long way to help them solve their problem.
All right, thank you so much. That was really profound too. Thank you. So
it even brings the eye of the world or the eye of Nigeria to that community.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for this amazing contribution. So it's as if some of you were already even, in our hearts, like you had some of these ideas already, but now it is, more pronounced. So, like I said earlier, we'll keep everyone posted, updated on our plans as regards what we want to do for those women in Makoko community. And we look forward to your support and to you, reading our call when we call on you to be social impact makers. Thank you so much for joining. So please, can we all unmute and just say hi? Let's take a photo session. Now it's time for photo session. After photo, then we can share food or refreshments, online refreshments. So let us unmute. You can follow each other. You can drop your, Instagram handle in the chat box. So whoever wants to connect with you can also connect, because I believe everybody is. Yeah. Is everybody here? All right, so cheese. Everybody. Okay. So. Mr. Godswill, I'm not seeing your face, so Mr. Joseph, Malwo, who else is still on the call? Favor, I want to see, you have a nice voice. I want to see the. All right, okay.
I really look terrible right now. I don't think I don't want you to see my face right now. I'm still in bed.
Okay, it's fine, it's accepted. All right. So thank you everyone once again. We'll keep you posted and updated. Thank you for joining. We look forward to doing more together. Bye for now.
Bye everyone.
Bye.